Yep, we're here at Gingerman Raceway. This is the second to last race of the year for GLTC. And we are currently in second place following Eric Coutil. Anyway, we're hoping to have a good showing. I bought some fresh Hoosiers, which I can't afford right now, but it needs to happen to have a chance, I think. So I'm going to give them a shot. We're also going to try the street tires here in practice just to see how good they are here. But I'm not expecting much from them because they've been pretty crappy the last 3 races. So anyway, wish me luck. I'd give you a little time to listen to the opening corners of the first lap here. This is race 1. As you can see, I started second position outside Tom O'Gorman, professional race car driver, who is now ahead of me. And I haven't given up yet, but I know how fast this dude is, and he's shown more pace here all weekend. And he's on Hoosiers, and I'm on street tires here, so unless I can somehow get in front of him in the first lap or two, and then find out a really creative way to block, there's not much chance of me staying in front of him, let alone get in front of him. So, and not to mention I just made a little mistake there in 10. The car got a little bit loose, and I had to catch it, and that cost a fair bit of time. Anyway, end of the first lap, and he's got a nice little lead. You can see in the rear view there's a decent gap back to third, so I'm just trying to keep my nose clean, and if I can hold off and maintain second place, I'm happy with that. So that would suit me just fine. Got a little wide there. As I may or may not have already told you, this is Gingerman Raceway in South Haven, Michigan. Small little track. It's a little over 2 miles long. 11 turns, I believe. And you'll notice basically just grass everywhere on each side of the racetrack. And that's, to me, that's the best part about racing here, because I don't love the track. It's got some weird turns that don't flow the greatest, and it's not terribly exciting, but I do love that it's a really safe track. I believe it's the safest track we go to. There's very few things you can hit. I mean, it does happen, it's racing, but besides other cars, it's, even if you go off track, you're unlikely to hit something. But anyway, here we are. We're like 3 laps in, and all of a sudden I'm catching Tom really quickly, and so I already know he's got a problem. A guy like him doesn't make mistakes often, and when he does, they're not like 3-second mistakes, because I was probably 2 or 3 seconds back of him already, and now you can hear him as I pass him. The car's breaking up, and I'm like, holy crap. I did not see this coming. Now I'm leading the first race, and my weekend just looked a lot better all of a sudden. So we're only 3 laps, maybe 4, into this race, and I'm stoked to be leading. So we're going to jump ahead right to the very end, because it was just me leading. And there you saw my mistake in turn 3 on the last lap. Andy was a good, I don't know, quite a ways back, and that mistake helped him catch up a lot. Also, I'm on street tires, he's on Hoosiers. My tires are getting worse each lap, and his are generally getting better, or at least not getting worse. Those lighter cars typically get better each lap on these sprint races. And now you can see, holy crap, he's all over me. So I have a plan here, and shouldn't be a problem. I've still got a decent gap back to him. He's got a little run on me here, so I'm going to make sure he takes the left side, my driver's side, which he does, because there's not much you can do on the outside here, but he does an awesome job setting up wide and getting back to gas early and diving underneath me. And now it's a drag race, which I was prepared for and not concerned about at all, because I'm going to win a drag race against a S2000, right? Wrong. He's there with me the whole way. I brake late, where I pretty much a little later than I always did, and he brakes just a bit later than that, and he has the apex. I could have got back to gas a little sooner, but I was waiting for the car to turn and get down to the apex. I could have made a little bit better move, but it still wasn't going to be enough, I don't think, to try to get him to the line. So last lap, last turn, the dude passes me, and I give him a thumbs up because that was a pretty sweet move. Still a big time bummer because I thought I had that race after Tom bowed out, and that's not the case. Anyway, race 2, here we are at the start of it. Based on your fastest lap from race 1, I was 4th fastest, and we're going to give Brian Heitkotter a little nudge right here. I talked with Chris Forsberg, the car owner, and I said, hey, do you have a bumper budget, because you're maybe going to need one if you're alright with it. Turns out Andy used up their carbon fibers door and quarter panel too, so that was a pretty wild first turn. Hard to place blame after looking at different camera angles. I think it was a comedy of errors, but speaking of comedy, here's Justin braking 2 brake motors later than he normally does to try to secure a spot, and I just basically have to wait for him to slide out of the way, and I thought I'd still be able to out drag race him, but that's not going to happen either. So now I've ducked into 4th place, and it's a pretty wild start. So now I'm just trying to get settled down and start making some clean laps. I've got Eric Catil right behind me. You can see him in my rear view. He's about to look like he's inside of my car. He's really fast here. This is the 7, 8, 9 turns, and they're high-speed turns where the car's just right on the edge, and his car is very good at high-speed turns. And mine historically is pretty good at corner exit and getting down a straightaway, but I don't know what's happened, but that's just not the case anymore. My car is like middle of the road fast, and is what it is, I guess. Although we're going to try work on that for the next race. Here is a giant cloud of smoke put up by Brian Heitkotter, who lost his ABS, and that's going to be a little foreshadowing for us too, because it's kind of a common theme this weekend, it seems like, braking issues. Anyway, here we are. I'd skipped the whole race basically, and now we're back to the end of race 2. Nothing has changed. Tom wins by 3 miles. Justin's ahead of me now. Look in my rear view. You might want to rewind and check that out, because Coutil lost brakes last turn, last lap, and he went flying off. And he did an absolutely awesome job of not crashing into me, which was the immediate danger. So we just got done with the top 10 shootout, and being I'm on street tires, that's a pretty good advantage. One that I sure like to have, and we were able to get first by a comfortable gap over second and the rest of the field. So we will be starting on pole for race 3, which is exactly what I need. Tom is faster than me. He's going to be outside row 1 starting this race 3. He has, I think we have the same rewards weight. I think we both have 75 pounds of rewards weight. And so I need to clear him immediately and start making clean laps and keep the tires under me. And if I don't do that, I just got to hold it together. But keeping him behind me is going to be near impossible, I believe, with his speed. One of my hopes is that Justin Kelly, who's starting 3rd, can mix it up with him for a number of laps at the very least, and slow the both of them down, which would help me get a lead. So that's about my best chance. and but I'm really excited. The weekend is shaping up nicely. I'm doing the things that I need to do. Race 1 didn't go quite how I wanted to. Race 2, it went okay. I mean, third place is pretty good in this field against crazy drivers. So we'll line up for race 3 and do our best. We're going to go back out on street tires. It's a risk, but they seem to me to maybe be the option here at this track. Definitely not at the last 2 tracks I was at, but we'll try. This ad is brought to you by, I'm joking, thank you sponsors that have helped me to get here and to have the success that I've had. Viking Performance has supported me for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's so nice having, that's the reason my car is purple. It's nice having not just their support with shocks, but friendship with the crew at Viking and the extended family that goes on to a bunch of other friends that run their products as well. So first and foremost them. I got to thank Comp Cams, Fuel Air Spark Technology, Quartermaster Clutches, 9 Lives Racing for the wing on the car. I've got to thank After Dark Speed. I've got to thank G-Speed. They gave sphericals that are on the car, the bushings that we run. After Dark Speed helped us with some suspension stuff. And then St. Paul Speed and Performance helped us a little bit with some wheels to get prepared for this season. And I'm so thankful and honored that this car has come together the way it has in the short season. Well, it's been a long season, but that we were able to find speed and pace early enough in the season to have a chance to be where we are right now. So even if we don't win the championship this year, which is still the goal, I'm currently in 2nd or 1st or 3rd or something like that. And heading into the final next race, I hope to still have a chance. And but regardless of what happens, I'm proud of what we've accomplished. My wife's come with me to almost all of these races, and it's been the best season of my life. I'm going way slower than ever before, and I'm having more fun than ever before. And the rest of my family and friends and so many people have helped on the car, and I'm just so fortunate and thankful to have been able to do something like this. It's a dream for a schmuck like me to be able to go out and race, and emotion. I'm just so thankful. The end.
Thanks, everyone.
We're back. And thank you to Optima Batteries. Helped me out early in the season, and then turned out I was too fat. I can't lay off the cheeseburgers. So we went with anti-gravity batteries so that I didn't have to lose 40 pounds. So thanks to both of you guys for also helping us. And I can't believe I didn't thank Adam yet. My buddy Adam Ulrich has basically been, he's just like stepped in as my crew chief since like NCM, since we had transmission problems. Like every event that he's at that I'm at, he's over helping me fix the car, prepare it, talk things over, strategy and everything, and it's been awesome. I'm excited about next year too, if I'm able to continue racing, to possibly have a kind of a team that comes out and runs these GLTC races. It's Team Viking would be pretty cool, but we'll see what next year brings. But for now, I just gotta say thanks to Adam. It's been awesome having him, and we've had a lot of fun besides, so thanks, buddy. I've probably jumped around a little bit, but before the start of this race, we had a top 10 shootout, and that was the top 10 cars from race 2. Got 1 lap to set the fastest lap they could. I was able to go fastest, so we got the pole started inside. I figured I'd be able to clear Tom to the inside, but Justin stuck his nose in on me in turn 1, so I had to respect that and give him some space, which gave Tom a little more what he needed to get through turn 1 and into turn 2. So now I'm following him again, and basically just figuring I'll be in this position again for this race. But behind me, Justin crashed into Lewis and kind of cleared up a ton of space behind us. So now it's basically just Tom and I cruising around here with a decent gap back to third. And I'm trying to just hang with him and see what I can do, see if I can even run his pace while I'm good and he's not, tire-wise. And I was pleased to basically stay with him. We were able to at least put a door on him here and there, but didn't really complete anything, but at least ran his pace for a little while. Again, the no shifting is it's kind of nice, but it's weird, and I could maybe get a little bit more dig out of turn 3 if I had downshifted, but I had given up pretty early on, thinking I'd just not do that. But here I had a decent run on him, and I just I don't know, I should have tried and rolled a little more speed, and had braked a little earlier and lift off the brake a little earlier and turn in a little earlier, and maybe I could have made that stick. But either way, a little bit of a mistake. That thing seems to get off corners pretty good. Referring to Tom. You can see, I think I've got a faster car right now than he does early in the race. But getting by him's a different thing. That's why it was so important for me to try and stay in front of him in the first turn of the race when I had a little lead, or a little gap. Trying to remember if there's anything exciting about to happen. There must be, 'cause I don't think I just left this play for the whole race. Yeah, that thing is good out of that corner. Oh yeah, this is race 3, so I think he has trouble here pretty soon, which you'll be seeing if that's the case. Yeah, I think right here, well, maybe it wasn't right there. At some point here recently, I figured he was having a little bit of problem. And I assumed it was the same problem he was having earlier, which turned out to be a throttle body. Something electronic, like I assumed it was a TPS or something, but anyway, now I'm like, oh man, maybe I've got a chance, because he's showing signs of an issue again. Whether it was the fuel starve, they had mentioned on the live stream that it could have been fuel starve or throttle body, but apparently on the live stream it didn't show me passing him right here, and so I got a lot of questions after the race, and I just told him I outdrove him because I'm a much better driver. And nobody believed me. Well, my mom believed me. And then, of course, I told everyone that wasn't the case. He had car problems, and that's how I passed him. But the rest of this race is basically just me cruising around. But here's the end of it, and my buddy Luke decided to come up and congratulate me. You can see him there with one bump, and I believe here comes one more. Ah, that was nice. Thanks, Luke.
Go ahead.
Race 3, we won. We won.
Woohoo!
I've been telling everybody that I outdrove Tom in race 3, and that's how I won, but he had some problems. But I got by him, and we won. So now I'm off to race 4. We start 7th from the invert. Hoping for a good showing. Just wish me luck.
Good luck, baby.
So, start of race 4, invert, 7th place. So I finished first, so I'm back to 7th. Get a decent little run. Gotta stay deep inside. We're 3 wide here. Oh, maybe not 3 wide. I thought there was somebody outside of Luke, but anyway, Luke was there, so I had to stay nice and low. Trying to roll speed around the outside of turn 2 here. Try to get back to gas early. Tires are still pretty cold and not real grippy. There goes Rocket Man, and just trying to basically save position here. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not trying to like pick up spots. This is I've got a nice point lead after the first 3 races. So basically all I'm trying to do is just not lose spots and keep it clean. And that did not go at all to plan. So this is by far my worst driving of the weekend. The car was the worst of the weekend. We had 150 extra pounds of rewards weight in the car. And I don't know, nothing really went right in this race, including a failure. So, but you're going to get to see more of this race than anything, because I guess there's at least a little bit more excitement and more stuff going on. So, but again, not proud of the driving in this one. It's Brian Heitcotter in front of me, another awesome pro driver and an all-around great dude. Awesome guy to have in the paddock, and we're so fortunate. I hope that they're able to come back for next season as well. I think they're done for this year. He's part of the Chris Forsberg team, and if you haven't heard of him, he's a pro drift driver. And anyway, you'll notice S2000 there came from about 3 cars back to the apex, and I think he learned that from Dive Bomb Dave, but able to outrun him back to turn 1 here for the next lap. And just basically trying to stay here, although that becomes a bit of an issue in a hurry because these guys are getting racy, and then that helps people behind us catch up. And I'm not trying to make a move and trying to like push my way through any of this stuff. I'm trying to let them figure it out, and you'll see what happens. Here's a bit of an issue. Those two came together, and so I checked up, and that helped Zach to get around me and have position into turn 10 here. So that was a bit of a problem. I'm trying to over-under him here, but he has a nice exit, and there's not really anything I can do. I was back to gas early, but it didn't seem to really matter. We've got pretty similar pace in a straight line. He's a little faster, I guess. But now I'm just waiting to see where he's going to brake. He brakes plenty late, so I just tuck in. He gives me room, thinking maybe I'd be there, which is fantastic, and I appreciate that. But he broke where he needed to, so I couldn't do anything with it. Now I figure, well, we'll just follow him around. I know I'm faster than him, so I'll figure out a spot later in the race to catch him. Maybe get back around him. Worst case, I'll just stick around here. I think I'm in 9th or 10th spot at this point, and that should still be enough to get the weekend win if I can just hold it together. So again, I'm not in a big hurry here and not trying to make too many moves, but turns out maybe I should have. That right there is turn 5 and 6. Probably the hardest turns in the track because they just don't flow. It's I like to think I'm pretty good at them, and my data shows that I am, but half the time you don't get out far enough, and it looks like you messed it up because you probably kind of did. It's just a really hard turn to make sense of. So 1 lap from now, you're about to see some catastrophe in the old Jeremy Swenson racing car. Right now I'm just being a goofball. No reason to be over there, but it did make Zach maybe kind of duck inside, lose a little speed on exit doing that, but he's still plenty fast. And he's a great guy while we're talking about him. Awesome guy to have in the paddock, and always smiling and having a great time, and that's really what this is all about. I know many of you right now, including myself, are kicking yourself saying, why didn't you just downshift there, you dummy? You probably would have had a little bit better exit, and you're probably right. But I got into the groove of not shifting, and it's a fun groove to be in. Right here, I believe I catch him a fair bit on entry. Back to wide open, the car drifts out to the left side of the track. You're just balancing on the edge of traction. Now you flick the car back the other way, try to get back to gas as early as you can, and I've got a nice run on him. Figure I'll go inside and brake late-ish, and disaster. ABS is gone, rear tires lock up, and I am off the track. I hit the mound of dirt pretty hard, especially for not actually having a splitter, like a protruding splitter on the car. It sure really dug everything up, but so that wasn't great for the car. It's damaged a fair bit, but I was able to get back on track. Now I'm checking to make sure, do I even have brakes? I have no confidence. I'm not going to try push this here. With Andrew Rains there, I'm not going to try and figure out what I've got left in a car with another car around me. So now it's just damage control. I'm in roughly 15th or 14th position, something like that, and trying to figure out if I have ABS. There I'm still pretty certain I don't. The rear's locked up a little bit and wanted to come around, which is strange because, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But right up in this brake zone, I'll stop talking. Now I'm certain I don't have ABS. So now it's a matter of figuring out how far can I push. In a car that's equipped with ABS but isn't working is far worse than a car that just doesn't have ABS, because A, you know what to expect, and you can usually adjust proportioning if it's a race car and figure out what works good. In this case, the proportioning is electronically controlled, and it usually goes completely bananas. Usually it's all the way to the front, basically, so your car doesn't do anything properly. In this case, I don't know why, but it actually felt decent. It felt, in some turns, like it was still rear biased, although you saw back there in turn 3, it was definitely front that locked up. So I'm taking a lap or two here to figure out what I've got and figure out, start slowly creeping up on brake zones again. Although I've basically committed to just trying to be clean now, stay in front of Jake, and if that means following Andrew around, that's fine. I just, the last thing I want to do is wreck somebody or go off track again. So just slowly basically working up, figuring out what I've got left with no ABS. So and I'm pretty disappointed at this point because I'm pretty sure that my weekend just got away from me. We had a good chance of winning the weekend, and in fact, all I really had to do was just go turn laps, and couldn't get that job done. But while I'm not talking about anything else, spoiler alert, we ended up winning the weekend. Pardon me. We tied with Tom for the weekend, Tom O'Gorman. We got the same amount of points. I don't remember what it was. And I ended up getting the tiebreaker, and so I got my first weekend championship victory. I've had 2 second places this season. So a bit frustrating to end it on this note, but it sure felt good still to somehow end up getting the win for the weekend. And so much hard work and effort goes into this, and money. and time, and it's fun to get rewarded for all the hard work, and pretty proud of it. Pretty proud of the team and the sponsors that have made this possible, and my wife, who's probably more responsible than even myself for our success. Now, Andrew Rains, I believe, I don't know if he's a pro or a former pro or what, but a very experienced driver, is going to do his best job for the last, I don't know, however many laps we have left. He's basically just an excellent blocker, and not taking anything from him, because that's, he knows he's got a 10th place car or 15th place car, whatever it is, and he's just doing the best he can. So what I should have maybe done is just stayed away from him and try not to let Jake get into it. But now Jake's gotten around me, so I'm just going further and further back, although I do get a little help here from Zach, who had a bit of an off here, and I believe he poked a hole in his oil pan. So he pops back on track. He's smoking, and I think he notices here in just a little bit, maybe it was oil pressure or something, or the smoke, that he needs to not be racing. But before that happens, he got up over, got Jake just enough to the outside that I was able to creep by and get that spot back. So worked out fine for me, but I think he pulls off here pretty soon. And the rest of this race, I probably shouldn't play the last few minutes of this, but it's basically just trying to figure out a way past Andrew, and that didn't happen either. So this is where we end up finishing. Another spoiler alert. But anyway, like I said, we had a great weekend, so much fun hanging out with friends. Huge event. There's, I think, more than 10,000 people come to this thing, and that's a bit light actually for what normally comes, but circumstances led to that, I guess. So, but still, tons of people watch this online, and it's streamed, and it's so cool to be a part of this. You feel like a pro race driver, even though you're just some guy who wastes all of his money doing this. Have I mentioned I have the best wife ever? Didn't say anything? Oh, good. We're going to get a little cameo. People like you more than me. Hit him with something.
What am I supposed to say? I am the best wife ever. The special kind of stupid that I am. If you find a lady that lets you race, you better keep her, because you're not going to find another one.
There you go. That's the best advice she can give you. I locked her down when we were 16 years old, so she didn't know what she was in for, but she's been so supportive, and I couldn't ask for more. Plus, we have a blast when we're out racing, so it's been the time of my life having her with us. So.
Agreed. It is fun. Highly recommend it.
Someday we'd like to own like a lake place or a boat or something, or both, but for now we race, right, dear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the end of race 4. And I finished not very well, but I think it was 13th or 14th or something. But it was just enough to tie Tom for the weekend. I got the tiebreaker. We win. And life is good. I didn't know that I had won in the coming interview that you're about to see, but hopefully I still had a reasonably decent attitude. I thought I had just thrown it away, so I guess we'll find out in a minute how good my attitude was. But thank you all for watching. So race 4 is just finished, and it didn't go great. I started 7th after the invert, and it was fine. I'm just trying to maintain pace. I wasn't really trying to pick up spots or lose spots, but I was behind Justin Kelly and Brian Highcotter, and Kelly turned into him, and I lifted
avoid anything, and then I got next to, I don't remember who got up next to me, and it was just racing, hard racing the whole time. And Zach Lavoie got by me, and I was just going to try settle into that spot, and then I was faster than him, so I found a spot to pass, and I was setting up for a pass, and I lost ABS into turn 10, and the rears locked up, and I nearly spun. I saved it, nearly spun again, and then went off track and smoked the front bumper. But I was able to get back on track in 13th, 12th, 13th, 11th, 14th, something like that.
14th, I think you were back in.
Okay. And then made up maybe 1 or 2 more spots over the rest of the race. And pretty bummed. That was not what I was looking for, but I suppose overall still a good weekend, and the car's not badly damaged. I got to figure out why the ABS broke, and I need to fix the splitter and the bumper area. So pretty bummed about that, but that's racing. I think had I not lost ABS, I probably could have at least maintained my position. I felt as fast as Brian Highcotter and Justin, who were fighting in front of me, and that's part of the problem. Is those two were door to door for a long time, and I was behind them with nowhere to go, and so that helped the pack behind me to catch me and make it a lot harder. And then after I lost ABS and went off track, I started battling Andrew, and he did not make it easy, that's for sure. I was definitely still faster than him, but he's a seasoned veteran, and he put his car in good spots to make sure I didn't get past, and I didn't have any braking confidence, so hard to get the job done. But still fun, and still pretty lucky to be doing this. This is a lot of fun, even when there's going to be downs like this in racing. It happens. So thank you all for watching. Smash buttons. Love you. Bye.